everybody is, you know, running around, yelling at people, but I see the kids are moving and having a great time. So that's one thing for sure is when we go through this whole thing, in the end, enthusiasm is going to be the thing that the kids will react to the most. They're going to learn the most with enthusiasm. And I'm going to tell you a bunch of things that you probably already know, but we're just going to reiterate them so that we do know those things. Okay, so these are the observations I have. Every kid in this club, and I don't really care about any of the other kids now, but every kid in the country has the same problem, but the kids in this club need to play the ball. They need to be on the ball all the time. So when you tell them to go for a run around the field, okay, it warms their bodies up, but it's not economizing your time. You're going to have an opportunity to get them with the ball all the time. So I would suggest that you are going to take them. It's always nice to have them go for a run because you can set up and do stuff. Make them go with the ball and give them an assignment. You know, this side of the field, inside the foot, that side of the field, outside the foot. Roll the ball, do a bunch of things. They have to play with the ball, otherwise the ball will never be their friends. And I see that when I look at the players. There are some issues. There are some issues with the weak foot, just technical issues like they make passes, short passes with their laces, or they toe balls, or they clip balls into people, and it's hard to gather the ball. So do your warm-ups. I would suggest doing your warm-ups in the area that you're going to coach in. You know, just set up your field when you get there early, set it up and say, this is where we are. Have them do something with the ball, have them juggle, anything that they're doing with the ball with each other. It's really important. So you have a limited amount of time. How many people have an hour to practice? You got an hour to practice, holy moly, you know. If you warm up for 20 minutes, you're going to run out of time to do anything. So make sure that a lot of times you can use your technical skill session, part of the session, as your fitness as well. And we're going to go through all these things. We're going to go through everything, all the exercises. You're going to use them or not use them or get ideas or whatever. It's not something that you have to do. Or these are the things that I do when I train teams. These are the things that I do when I train teams. I've pirated them over the years. I'm a pirate. I look and see, oh look, that U10 coach works. That U10 coach is doing something. I can do that with an adult team, or adult teams. You know, it's all the same thing. So you guys should do that too. You should always look to see what other people are doing and how that would help or complement, supplement what you're doing as well. Okay, so when you guys do fitness, how important is fitness? It's really important, even when you're 8. Even when you're 8. What kind of fitness do you need when you're 8? Just enough to be able to run around and not do this on the field, and so that happens. How do you do that with 8-year-olds? You just do it with the ball. Just have relay races with anybody, really. Do all your fitness with the ball. Everything you can possibly do. Instead of making them run back and forth, make them do shuttles. 5 back, 10 back, 15 back, and you know, go around the cones. Just a little shuttle run. What is that? That's 60 yards of running right there. All right, that's a good sprint. So, and it's in a contained area, and they're touching the ball. And if you have a relay race with boys, it's really boys are very competitive. All right, so if you make it a race, guess what? They're going to go as fast as they possibly can, and they don't even know that they're getting fitness. So you don't even have to tell them that it's fitness. It's really important, and we should never use fitness as punishment. That's another thing, because you want them to want to do fitness. Nobody wants to do fitness, but if you say, okay, if you're not trying hard, we're going to run. Well, guess what? They have to run anyway. That shouldn't be punishment. They should want to do their fitness. So make it fun for them. That's your job, is to make it fun. The other thing I saw is individual instruction should be in the beginning of, okay, when you set up your practice for a theme, you go from warm-up and fitness to some kind of technical instruction to some kind of game, some kind of simulated game, conditioned game, or whatever your theme is. Your individual instruction, when you talk to one player, don't stop the whole group. Do it in the beginning when there's small groups and you stop one player and you make instruction. There's only 3 people stopped, other people are doing what they're doing. You don't want to stop the whole group all the time, because this is what players do. When you stop them, they go like this, they go. Every player wants to play. They don't want to listen to you. So when you do have to talk, don't stop the whole group. And if you do stop the whole group later on in a game, make your points concise, freeze the game, paint a picture, freeze, right now, freeze. This is the problem. Everybody's over here, we should go over there. Let's spread out and then get out and let them play. Start exactly where you stopped them so that they can correct the mistake right away. Make sense? I know that US Soccer says freeze, paint the picture, start from there and then go back and then start again. But don't do that. Don't stop play for longer than you have to. Be concise, get in, be clear, and get out. And what coaching points do you make? The 3 coaching points that you have for your theme. Whatever it is, if it's passing, you're going to come in with 3 really important, coaching points. We'll go over that too. Okay, make it fun. Okay, well, soccer is fun. So I would say this, don't make it not fun. For sure, soccer is already fun. They want to come out here, don't make it not fun. And how do you do that? Make them compete. Make them compete all the time. Have competitions. Keep score accurately. When they start arguing about the score, guess what? You got them. They care. You know what I mean? When they start arguing, there's a whole bunch of different things you can talk about. Don't argue with the ref, whatever it is. But as soon as they start arguing about the score, you know that they're in it, and you don't have to do much. All right? And also keep a record of who wins. I'm asking you to do a lot. You might not do any of this, but I'll say that if you keep a record of who wins, have your teams already set up, all right, and then keep track of this 5 people who won. Keep a track of running record throughout the season. And what will happen at the end of the season, you're going to find out who your most valuable players are. You're going to find out not because they're a good player, but in the results, they're always on the winning team. At some point, it's going to matter that they're on a team and then they're going to win. Does that make sense to you guys? All right, so when you evaluate your players at the end of the year, that's one thing that you really want to evaluate. That's something that we don't evaluate. It's like, oh, we talk about their technique and their tactics and the decisions they make on the field, but you also want to make an impact on the game. And the teams that make the impact, the teams that win, and the players that are on those teams, you want to know that, so that when you're making the evaluation and you're talking to the parents or the player or whatever it is, you can say, you know what, 75% of the wins this season in our little small games, your son is on. And that's an awesome thing. And if they're not there, you don't have to bring it up, but you know that. And you can watch them more carefully and help them make an impact on the game. And so, that. And then I would say compete, relay races. No more when you have relay races, no more than 3 people in the line. If you have 6 people, have 2 people in each line, so that they're getting more work on the ball. There's, you don't want to have 5 people in a line, because those last people are always like this, looking around, and you want them to be in it. Okay, so, and I would time it, for girls are a little bit different. There's some gender research here. How many are girls coaches here? Okay, so just so you know that girls are socialized not to be competitive. They are competitive. They're humans, right? They're competitive, but they're socialized not to be. So how do you get them to step up and compete? That's as a woman's coach, as a girl's coach, you have to teach them how to be competitive. And how you do that is have them compete against themselves. So time their little runs. When they do with the ball, they do their little obstacle course. Oh, you did that in 23 seconds. Can you do that in 22? So when they're competing with themselves, they'll try a lot harder. When they're competing with their girlfriend, with their friend, they don't want to be the man. They still want to be the man. And there's some research to that too. Like North Carolina, that guy's won 20 national titles, and he came up with that. Compete against yourselves. He keeps a record of every single thing, and you guys are coaching 8 and 9 and 10-year-olds, so it's not going to be. You're not going to be talking about their shooting and goal scoring ratio, but you will have an idea who they are and how to keep them competitive. On the boys' side, guess what? Boys are competitive, and you're going to have to. And your charge with the boys is to get them to be more of a team, because they want to be competitive and have them be competitive with purpose, right? And so it's easy for boys. You just keep score. That's it. You just keep score. And I think that's fun as well. Okay, take attendance for your own benefit. Take attendance. It's been my history that if you keep attendance when the parents start talking about playing time or this or that or the other thing, you can always go, well, they don't come to all the practices, or they're late all the time, or whatever it is, and then they'll say, well, I have work. I'm like, I understand that, but it's best for you to keep attendance so that you know who's in it, what parents are in it, and maybe there is a parent that can't get their kid on time. Maybe you can help arrange for them to get there on time with other people. You know, you can fix that, okay? So, and this is for the club benefit. Take note of your biggest, fastest, strongest athletes, okay? We lose a lot of those kids because we don't teach them at the younger ages the technique, because guess what? They're big, strong, and fast, and they beat everybody, and they always score, and they're always great, and so then they end up not having to learn the game, and we lose them. We want to develop those big, strong, fast athletes, so keep track of them. Let us know who they are so that we can keep an eye on them, and it is your job to not let them go away. You can't go, well, you know, that player always does well, so I don't have to stop play and criticize that kid. That kid, the kids that are most talented are the ones that have the most responsibility to be great. And that's where you guys come in, is making sure that they develop like all the other players, not any more or less, but that they have the basic techniques to be a great soccer player when they get older, okay? And you know, one of the things I learned in college is the difference between Division I players and Division II players isn't their soccer. It's their size and speed and strength. That's the difference. Okay, the soccer is very similar, but the Division I players are bigger, stronger, and faster. And so we want to keep track of that, because we want our players, the San Francisco Glens players, to move on and go to higher levels, so that, hey, you know what, it'd be great if we had a kid that made it to the national team. How many are U10 coaches right now? Okay, so U10 coaches, we're talking about they could start getting